Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. Today I have a very exciting video to show you. And yeah, I haven't been making a video the last few days because I have been busy. There's been a lot of impossible quests that have been available, so I've been working on those. And yeah, the biggest news here is Izanami is ready to become a max luck. So let's go ahead with that. Alright, 98, just need one more. And there it is. Whew. Alright, this is a long time coming, but here we go. Okay. Alright, that's my first impossible max luck. They say the world changes after this happens, so let's take a photo of that. Alrighty. Oh my goodness. Alrighty. So first, let's look at the stats here for Izanami. She has very, very high hit points. She's almost a tank, pretty much. It's about 24,000, a little bit more. And so if you use her, she'll raise, your overall HP level. And she can even make up for some other characters that you're using that might have a low HP. Her attack is also very good. It's over 24,000. Her speed is her only stat that is maybe only so-so. It's a little bit less than 300. But yeah, overall she's very balanced, very strong, and very balanced. And she was one of the very first characters released in Monster Strike. And so I wonder if maybe the developers didn't quite know what they were doing, so they may have made her too strong. But I'm not complaining, so that's cool. She is a bounce type, and she has the double null ability, null gravity barrier and no warp. And then, yeah, if you've played with Izanami, or like Ryubi, or Jack, then you know how versatile this ability combination is. She can go to many, many quests. Her strike shot is excellent. It is the Meteor. So every enemy she hits in her strike shot will get a Meteor, which will do maybe, what is it, 500 to 800,000 damage, depending on the what is it, the element. She doesn't have the most damaging Meteor, but it's certainly good enough to take down all the little guys that you hit. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage to the boss, less than 1 million, so that is useful to keep in mind. If you wanted to raise the damage of the Meteor, then you can wait for either the boss to be like in an angry state or else to pick up a sword. Whoops. And then, finally, her bump combo is the rebound laser. That's the one where you hit her, the direction that you hit her, it bounces off the wall 4 times. And oops. The power here, it says 2,400 about. It doesn't seem that powerful. But actually every laser, it's either every laser hits multiple times or she shoots out multiple lasers at once. And so actually it's like, 3 to 5 times the damage you see here. Plus the 4 attacks, plus element multiplier or the boss's weak point multiplier. So it ends up being very strong. Alrighty, and then what's next on my list here? Oh, that's right. Quests that Izanami can go to. I'm looking at a game with Sight right now, and she is recommended for a bazillion quests. Again, the null gravity barrier, no warp combination is very good. And yeah, of course she's very usable in quests with just gravity barriers or just warps. And yeah, she's even usable in quests with just one of those gimmicks and then one other one. So for example, she is recommended for Poltergeist, which has null gravity barrier and null damage wall. Izanami does not have null damage wall, but her gravity barrier comes in handy, and then her other abilities are so good that she is recommended for there. And then same thing for Zhang Fei. Zhang Zhao, that's right. Zhang Zhao, she has mines and warps. She's recommended because she can go through the warps, and then her abilities are good enough to offset the disadvantage of not being able to handle the mines. And then, yeah, I'm looking at what else there is. For other impossible missions she's good for. She's one of the best for Kushinada. Also Izanagi. I actually haven't used her in Izanagi yet, so I want to give that a try. That's the most difficult impossible quest for me, so if Izanami can help me there, that'd be great. And then later there will be it's a level above impossible difficulty. I hear it's called cataclysmic, but we'll see what they call it. She'll be good for the green one of that later. And then she's also good for light and dark Murasame. And then I would say actually that she's good for light and dark Muramasa as well. In the Muramasa stages, there are some laser barriers. So that's why Izanami is not recommended for those. But in those stages, you want to kind of control your damage output, because there are certain enemies that you don't want to take down. And so having her rebound laser blocked can actually help you prevent damage to characters that you don't want to damage. And then of course her Meteor Strike Shot is very useful for those stages. So I would actually recommend Izanami for light and dark Muramasa. And then yeah, if you saw my floor 30 video, that also has some laser barriers in it. But Izanami is still very, very usable there, so yes, very versatile. Actually, let's look at 1923. Yeah, and I guess she is usable for floor 23 of the Tower of Champions. But I would recommend maybe other characters with Deity Slayer. And then, yeah, speaking of Deity Slayer, that's maybe the one weak point of Izanami. She is a deity, and there are lots of bosses with Deity Slayer, so you can't bring her to those. Basically, you can't bring her to Deity Slayer levels or water levels, or levels with damage walls and mines, like Basilisk. But that's about it. You can take her almost anywhere else. She's very crazy. Alrighty, what's next on my list? So yeah, once I've made, you know, the Izanami Max Luck, there are some other Max Lucks that I have that are gonna kind of fall by the wayside. I told myself that I wouldn't use Izanami too much, you know? I didn't want her to in my top 10 used monsters list because she is so overpowered. But since I put in this work, I really feel like I want to get use out of Izanami. Alrighty. So first, let's look at other red characters with null gravity barrier. First here is Ignite Scarlet. Probably never going to use her or him again. Just because Izanami just outclasses her in pretty much every way. Yeah, Izanami doesn't have wood resistance, but she has higher HP anyway, so... let's see, other characters... Well, Gargoyle here I will continue to use, because she has flight. There are certain stages, like Marishten, where this flight and null damage wall. I did not mean her. There we go, yeah. Leah. She has no gravity barrier. I'm going to use her less, of course, because Izanami also has no gravity barrier. But in missions with mines, Leah will be more useful. So like Gigamantis, stuff like that. Otherwise, here is Rakshasa. He's another no gravity guy. But I'll continue to use him sometimes because he is a Pierce type instead of a Bounce type like Izanami. Who else we got? Suruto. His what is it? His main characteristic is his Sprite Slayer. And so for, you know, sprite quests like Murasame, I'll still continue to use him. He also has really high hit points, but Izanami does as well. And then Suruto does have the blast bump, which is also great. But I'm thinking for the most part, I'm going to be using Izanami instead of Suruto in most cases. And then let's see who else is there. Here is the Rakshasa evolution. He also has no warp, but he is a Pierce, so I think I'll continue to use him there. And then, yeah, one thing about Rakshasa is that for Kushinada, I have my setup that I really like, where the max lux are Rakshasa evolution and Vendetta evolution. I could put in Izanami in there now, because she is so good for the stage. But I don't know, that would mean having to give up that sort of one-way laser plus pierce combination. I'll think about it, Let's see, other characters that will kind of fall by the wayside. Soulwing, I don't have a max look of him, but of course, with just no gravity barrier, and then like a lesser bump combo, he's not going to be as good as Izanami. So I'm going to stop using him. Who else? And then here, this is the Ascension version, but the Evolution version with no warp of Astaroth, I would stop using as well. She only has no warp, and so Izanami with the double Slayer and then the better abilities would be the better choice. And then other no warp characters like Mika and possibly Wyatt Earp, I would also stop using in favor of Izanami. And then this is kind of jumping elements here, but I think the biggest loser is Jack here. Jack is terrific. He is a great max lux for beginners, but Izanami with the same skill set but better, you know, bump combo, better strike shot, outclasses him a lot. There is still one mission though where Jack is better than Izanami, and that is Tsukuyomi. Jack's strike shot is better suited for Tsukuyomi, and then also there are enough laser barriers in that mission that Izanami would almost not be useless, but her direct attacks would do damage to the guys. So I'll keep Jack for Tsukuyomi, and that's about it. Okay. So that is that. What's next on my list? Ah, yes. We can look at my kind of my play stats. And so, you know, I've looked at a lot of other videos or accounts of other players and how long it took them to make a max luck Izanami. And then it varies a lot. I think I'm probably on the slow side. My rank is about 200, I have about 400 login days, and then I have about 60 max lucks. Other people I've seen, they've made the max luck Izanami in 350 days, or rank 150, or their 15th, or even their 10th max luck. Yeah, so in a lot of ways, you know, I'm kind of behind, but there is a reason for that. I do work weekends, so I'm not available to play those 2-hour shifts during the weekends. And so this Izanami was made almost entirely just on overtime quests, which I can play on my own time. So that's just, you know, 4 times a weekend, basically. Maybe every other weekend, every 3rd weekend or so. So yeah, that's why that took that long. And then if I remember correctly, it took me 4 months of playing about to get my first Izanami. And then from there, 8-9 months of you know, building the max luck. So yeah, it took me a while. I'm very happy that that I did it. Very big accomplishment for me. Okay, so that's that. What else is on my list? Ah, yeah. I can show you the party that I used to create the max luck. I used all blue characters. And then in the very beginning, I used Dax here. He's great because he has a Pierce. He can be very good for getting hearts. And then he also has a Blast Bump combo, which can increase your amount of damage that you do by setting off bump combos. And then I also used Queen Butterfly. She was one of the first max lucks that I ever got. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, she was one of the first max looks I ever got, and then her stats are really good. Her bump combo and her strike shot aren't great, but you use her for her stats. Excuse me. And she's also really to make as a max slug. If you do the Mythos quests, if you get Leah Ascension, Leah Ascension is a great max slug to use to make the Queen Butterfly max slug. Yeah, so those are the max slugs that I used in the beginning, but towards the end I used Tiger. She has super high hit points, so she can help you, handle that big damage output. And then she has really high speed, so she can, move around the map and get hearts pretty easily. And then finally, she has the blast bump. So of course she can set off, more bump combos for you. And then towards the end, I used Bishamonten. And then using Bishamonten with a character with the blast bump is very, very recommended. You can get a lot more tag lasers out because of that. And then the other max luck that I used was Marie Antoinette Ascension. And she doesn't have a lot of, kind of unique abilities that stand out. She was just a Pierce character. That was an upgrade above Dax evolution. And yeah, her Pierce, it also pairs really well with Bishamonten's tag laser. And then her strike shot can do pretty good damage as well. Yeah, her Fiend Slayer never really came into play, but just as a solid Pierce character, she was really great. And then, yeah, I've mentioned her a couple times already, but yeah, Bishamonten. She was one of my main damage sources during the quest. Her tag laser, it's difficult to use, but if you practice, the payoff is really, really big. So big that I wouldn't want to attempt Izanami again without her. So yeah, Tiger is a good partner for her because of the blast bump combo. And then Marie Antoinette is a good partner for her with the Pierce type. And yeah, she has the double null ability. There are some warps in the mission as well, so that comes in handy. And then she has a meteor strike shot, which I usually save for the last stage to take down the two Bahamuts there at the bottom. And actually, I'm thinking about it, this was a free team. These are all drop monsters so far. And then the one Hatcher monster that I used consistently was Romeo. Yeah, very high stats as well. And then he has a strike shot, the Chain Meteor strike shot, which I would save for the second to last stage, because there are so many targets around, and try to hit as many of those guys as possible to set off, a lot of big damage on the boss. And yeah, pretty strong bump combo here as well. He is a blast type, but his stats are much better than a blast type. Yeah, and that was the team that I used most of the time. I'm looking at my other Hatcher monsters that I used. Nobunaga X would have been great, but I got her so late that I never really used her too much there. Other good no gravity barrier monsters. Oh, actually, Verdandi was one of the first Hatcher monsters that I ever got, and she was great in the beginning for Izanami for me, because there are damage walls in the mission as well, and her Pierce strike shot I could use either to grab hearts in an emergency or go back and forth through the boss's weak point to do big damage. And yeah, she also has really good stats. Marguerite here, she is very recommended for Izanami by a lot of players because she has, one, really good stats, and then two, the one-way laser. I felt like I wanted more freedom of movement within the stage, and then using Marguerite would have really, it makes you play around her, which kind of limits your movement. So I didn't want to use her. But lots of people have used her very successfully, so if you have her, go ahead. Yeah, the one-way laser is great. The dunk laser I preferred in the end for Izanami. I was able to make really good use of that, so... Okay, so that was my party. And then finally, yeah, so that was my first impossible. And then we're going to look at all of my impossibles just to see where I stand on other max lux. So let's see, moving on down. The next closest here is Marishten. He's at a 56. And his mission really suits my playstyle. I do really well in his mission. So he'll probably be the next one. After that is Akala at 35. Again, I do pretty well in his mission. Not as good as Marishten, but he is definitely on his way. And then after that, I have, weirdly enough, all of these guys are very close together in numbers. Kushinada, Tsukiyomi, Bishamonten, and Yamato Takeru. They may or may not all be done around the same time. Yeah, of these, I enjoy playing Bishamonten and Yamato Takeru the most. They're not easy, but they are fun. And then here, Ashura. Actually, I do decent in her mission. I just never get drops for some reason. But yeah, I did get Susanoo lately, so hopefully he can help me get through the mission pretty easily. Not easily, but consistently. And then, let's see. Finally, here is Izanagi. I have lots of trouble with his quest. Which isn't, you know, a horrible thing, because his character is a little bit limited in his use. He's one of the less useful impossibles. I still really appreciate having him, but yeah, no big rush on that guy. And then, yeah. Well, I guess I can show you these guys. Here is Light Murasame. She's at 12. But I've been kind of stockpiling my vouchers for her until I made the max look of Izanami. So now I'm ready to, you know, go after her. Work on that. And then, where's Murasame? There he is. This guy too, I was kind of holding off on using his vouchers. Also for the Izanami max luck. Because I discovered that Da Vinci Ascension was really good for him because she has the no gravity barrier and Meteor. Izanami is going to take over her spot because she has better stats than the bump combo that I said that can be controlled within the laser barriers. So yeah, very, very exciting. My first impossible max luck, and hopefully not the last. Alrighty. Yeah, and I think in the near future I'll be making a video about the steps you need to take to get your first Izanami. So look forward to that. Alrighty. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again. Take care.